another side, the GIAA show presented by the Beck Center, Thrift, Barringer, Big Rich, your voices of the GIAA. Rich, how you been, man?
Oh, man, I've been great. Another week of GIAA winter sports. I can't believe that the regular season for these winter sports is coming to a close. Coming to a close. Some of them already wrapped up.
Unbelievable. So we'll talk about the new basketball rankings that dropped. We'll talk about upcoming sports championships, including swimming and dual wrestling, which is this weekend.
And we have GIAA news.
Weather permits, and GIAA news, Richard.
We have a news story that came out. Sherwood Christian is going to be playing 11-man football next year. So that came out on the GIAA website, which means they'll have that natural rivalry with Deerfield-Windsor. They're going to be battling for, Edmund Burke, Robert Toombs. They're going to be in 1A playing 11-man football with Flint River, Robert Toombs. So we'll have more than 4 teams in 1A next year. So that's exciting for Sherwood Christian.
Well, congratulations to Sherwood, and we look forward to seeing them playing in 1A against Flint River and Robert Toombs. That's going to be a lot of fun. The back-to-back 8-man football champion who have won, I think, over 25 games. They have been incredible.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So far for sure, Richard. So we're presented by the Beck Center. Like I said, we have a ton of sports that we're going to be getting into here this evening. Big Rich?
Yes.
So without further ado, let's talk about some of the things that we got coming up this month, which includes this weekend, Rich, the dual championships for wrestling.
Absolutely.
And that is going to be taking place at, if I am not mistaken, because we just did archery, the duels are going to be taken at George Walton this weekend. So this Friday and Saturday, George Walton will be hosting the dual wrestling championships. So we can't wait to be able to see those teams compete this weekend in Monroeville, Monroe, Georgia.
Yeah.
So can't wait to see who's going to be the champions there, Rich. What do you got?
And then we got championships the next couple of weeks. The state swimming meet's going to take place January the 31st at the Georgia Institute of Technology Center in Atlanta. It's the Aquatic Center at Georgia Tech. And then 2 weeks from now, February 7th, we have the individual the individual matches for wrestling. We got the duel this week. In 2 weeks, we've got the individual championships. And then, before you know it, we'll have the semifinals and the finals for basketball. I know that's going to be exciting. It's actually called the State Traditional Meet, which is going to be February 6th and 7th at Riverside Preparatory Academy in Gainesville.
Remember, quarterfinals for basketball, February 20th and 21st. Semifinals are the week after at ABAC and Columbus State, and the state championships at Columbus State University. So those are some of the news and notes around the association. Again, made news about Sherwood Christian making headway. They're going to be going to 1A for the state championship. So congratulations to them. And we got some big basketball games going on around the state. We got some movers and shakers in the top 10. We're going to go into all of those here in just a little bit. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we got more. It's Inside the GIAA, presented by the Beck Center. We'll be right back after this.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.tv, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
GIAA.TV now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.TV Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.TV Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.TV Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.TV Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.TV Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more. Featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.TV.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the GIAA, presented by the Beck Center and the Beck Center Studios. It's basketball season going on right now, which means we got rankings, Big Rich. Let's get into it. Let's talk about 1A girls, and the number for the girls rankings, number 10, coming in as I am looking at right now the boys. Oh, excuse me about that, everyone. And now I have the girls. And number 10 is Twigs Academy. Now, remember, 12 teams make the playoffs for each classification, Richard. 12. Remember that. Top 4 teams get a bye, and then the other 8 all make the playoffs. And so 5, 12 play, 6, 11, 7, 10, 8, 9. That's the first round. Then you got quarterfinals, then semis, and then the championship. So 12 teams make the playoffs. We only got 10 here. John Hancock, Grace Christian Academy, both those teams in the playoffs. Outside, Westwood, Covenant, Highland, and Atlanta Jewish. Number 10, Twigs. Number 9, Flint River. Number 8, Thomas Jefferson. Number 7, Crisp Academy. Number 6, David Emmanuel. And number 5, Fullington. What do you see right there, 10 through 5, Richard?
Well, I'm seeing a Thomas Jefferson team with the 2-10 record above Flint River, and you got to go off strength of schedule.
They got the toughest strength of schedule, Richard, out of anybody.
Some of those 10 losses were probably to top teams. So they are rewarded for the tough opponents that they have faced. But I like where all these teams are. I mean, we know about the accolades of Twigs Academy. You know, they a very small private school over there in Twiggs County, just outside of Macon. Obviously, Flint River over there in Woodbury. And we've got Crisp Academy down there in Cordele. I mean, David Emmanuel's had a history of winning championships at the single A. So far, I like these rankings.
Number 4, St. George's, 11-5. Number 3, Citizens Christian. Their boys team's really good, Richard. 10-9. Number 3, again, 5.60 rating, 4.4 strength of schedule. They have the second toughest behind Thomas Jefferson does Citizens Christian. Robert Toombs comes in at number 2. And the number 1 team, Memorial Day, at 12-3. So how about Memorial Day, Richard, as they Memorial Day are led by head coach Iman Grayson.
Yeah.
And they're 13-3 on the year right now, Richard, and 1-0 in the region. Nyla Edwards leads their team at 16 points a game.
Yeah, Memorial Day lost to the defending champion Robert Toombs last year in the quarters in Stratford. They're the number 1 team. They want to try to get a number 1 seed. Remember, a number 1 seed means you get a bye. So the first 4 teams will get byes, and they will advance to the quarterfinals without having to play that first round game.
So the boys. Thomas Jefferson boys team and Westwood boys team, 11-12. They both would be in the playoffs. Covenant, Fullington, Crisp, and David Emmanuel, along with John Hancock, Twigs, and Flint River, all out of the playoffs. Here's the top 10. Highland, number 10 at 5-9. Grace Christian Academy, 6-8, number 9. Atlanta Jewish Academy, number 8. Memorial Day, number 7. LaGrange Academy, number 6. And Robert Toombs comes in at number 5, Rich.
Yeah, and the defending champions, First Preparatory Christian at 10-3. Citizens Christian, the number 1 team. So the top 2 teams from last year are the number 1 and number 2 teams, respectively. So
let's talk about Citizens Christian. They, by the way, just lost to First Preparatory Christian Academy last night, 62-59. Remember, these rankings came out on Monday, so I'm on the bet FPCA may jump Citizens Christian. Again, 62-59 win over Citizens Christian. They are led by head coach Jared Roberts. We know Coach Roberts. We talked to him last year, but again, Citizens Christian falling to FPCA. So we could have a shakeup next week. But going into this, remember, these rankings came out on Monday. Citizens Christians 1, FPCA 2, St. George's 3, Oak Mountain 4.
Yeah, well, I think we're expecting a new number one when the new rankings come out on Monday.
Let's talk, Rich. Let's go to 2A girls. 19 teams in 2A. St. Mary's out, Holy Spirit Prep out, Monsignor Donovan out, Augusta Prep out, Heritage Preparatory out, Furtop Prep, Westminster Christian Academy are all out of the playoffs right now. Who's in? Sherwood Christian 6-6 at number 12, Heritage number 11 at 10-4. Now let's talk about the top 10. Again, Heritage and Sherwood in. Georgia Christian 9-6, number 10. Central Fellowship 7-8, number 9. Briarwood 12-5, number 8. Windsor Academy 15-4, number 7. Edmund Burke 14-4, number 6. Southland in the top 5 at 13-4. Gatewood 14-3. Now everyone starts looking and saying, man, there's a lot of teams right there. They got 14, 15 wins more than Trinity while they're down. Well, Trinity has the toughest strength of schedule at 9.1, significantly higher than anyone else. They come in at number 3. Southwest Georgia at number 2, and a big drop off between number 1 and number 2. Brentwood. This would be a rematch of the football state championship.
Yep.
Brentwood 19-1 on the year. They are actually 19-2 now on the year.
Right.
They lost to East Lawrence this week. Again, these rankings and the records, these were put out on Monday when they first came out. Brentwood led by Candence English at 14.4 points per game. Head coach Jamie Dickey for Brentwood.
Yeah, so Brentwood and Southwest Georgia Academy were the number 1 and number 2 seeds last year's tournament. They both got knocked out in the semifinals, and it was a matchup between Trinity Christian and Central Fellowship. The defending champion, Central Fellowship, is sitting there at number 9, but we got Trinity Christian, who were the runners-up last year. Look out for Gatewood, Southland Academy. These are some teams like Edmund Burke, pretty good records. Windsor Academy, they could sneak up on you. But I think that Brentwood, they're trying to get to the championship and try to win it all. They've been the number 1 team, and I think that they got a good shot at it. The first 4 seeds will get that bye, and they will advance to the quarter. So it's going to be interesting to see how those teams ranked 5 through 12 play in that first round of the playoffs.
All right, let's go to the boys. Boys, 19 teams. Gatewood, Windsor Academy, Edmund Burke, Monsignor Donovan, Briarwood, Georgia Christian, St. Mary's, all would be out of the playoffs right now. Who'd be in? Holy Spirit Prep at 5-7, number 12. Trinity Christian 8-10 would be at number 11. Now let's talk about the top 10. Westminster Christian Academy 7-7, number 10. Sherwood Christian Academy 6-6, number 9. Augusta Prep 9-6 comes in at number 8. Number 7, Southland 10-8. Southwest Georgia 9-6, number 6. Heritage Preparatory number 5. Central Fellowship comes in number 4. Defending champion for Top Prep 13-6, number 3. Brentwood undefeated.
Hey.
But not a great strength of schedule. Actually, they're 16-1. They lost to East Lawrence as well, so they just got their first loss of the season. Not a great strength of schedule. Lead scorer Zion Andrews at 14.6 points a game. They're led by head coach Tucker Scholl. But Brentwood got their first loss, but they're still undefeated in GIAA play and in region play. And the number 1 team, do you expect anything different from Coach Job Jerome? Heritage back at number 1. Makari Townsend at 13.9 points per game comes in as the leading scorer. They are undefeated in region play. They're starting to play their best ball right now, Richard, as
Yeah.
They are on an 8-game winning streak.
How about
and
that?
they take on the number 1 team in 4A tomorrow in
Yes.
Pacelli. That one earlier this year went into 3 overtimes. So that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Furtop Prep trying to go for the 3-peat, taking it. I think at Heritage Furtop Prep, they've really been the top 2 teams all season. I expect this to be the championship, and something's got to give. Heritage, the number 1 team, they've been the runners up the last couple of seasons, but Brentwood undefeated. They're kind of flying under the radar. Furtop Prep right there at number 3. The records really don't reflect how good these teams are. Central Fellowship, another one of those teams, they lost in the quarters last year. They're trying to get back there. Augusta Prep, a team that lost in the semifinals. They're sitting there at number 8. I love where the 2A classification is for the boys, but Furtop Prep is the team to beat. They are the back-to-back champions trying to go for the 3-peat.
All right, so there is your top 10 in 2A. Let's go to 3A, and let's talk about the 3A girls. Rich, here are the 3A girls. And I've been impressed by the 3A classification. There has been a lot of great battles. We're going to discuss all that coming up right after this.
Even though I'm away at college, Kinetic Credit Union is still the best way for me to stay connected here and at home. With the Kinetic mobile app, I have control of my accounts wherever I go. I can easily transfer money between internal and external accounts, get money faster by setting up recurring transfers, and I can find the nearest ATM or branch right from my phone. Plus, I can add my Kinetic cards to my phone's digital wallet and enjoy quick, secure, contactless payments. By the way, Mom, I need some more money.
Kinetic Credit Union, the energy for your dreams.
Welcome back, everybody. Here is the 3A classification for the girls' side. Richard, and looking at it, remember, Valwood out, Deerfield Windsor out, Brookwood out. Deerfield Windsor out, Valwood out. Only 2 teams would be out. Brookwood in, Tift area in at 12 and 11. Brookwood 8 and 10, Tift area 7 and 10. Let's talk about the top 10. Pinewood number 9, number 10, 6 and 9. Number 9, Piedmont Academy 4 and 13. Dominion Christian comes in number 8 at 14 and 3. St. Andrews 10 and 9. Number 7, John Millage, a surprise team last year at number 6. Number 5, Westminster Schools of Augusta at 12 and 3. Number 4, Lakeview Academy at 10 and 6. Number 3, Terrell Academy at 13 and 5. Number 2, Westfield 14 and 3 on the year. They have been absolutely sensational. And the number 1 team in the GIAA at 14 and 0 is Frederica. I can't even say it. Frederica. Asia Mountain at 18.3 points a game leads the team. The sophomore head coach Edward Wilson has a really good program. Frederica Knights come in ranked number 1. They just beat Valwood. Westfield School looks really good. They beat Brookstone. They beat Pacelli. They're 14 and 3. They take on Tift area, and they're on a 6-game winning streak right now. Their leading scorer is Mary Blake Brannon. All right, Rich, 3A, what do you got?
Well, the defending champions, Lakeview Academy, sitting there at number 4. Frederica still undefeated. They beat Westfield School in the quarters last year, but lost to Lakeview in the semifinals. John Millage was really the talk of the tournament last year. A 7 seed that knocked off Terrell Academy, and then they knocked off the 6 seed Westminster Schools of Augusta, who knocked off Piedmont. We saw a lot of parity last year in the 3A classification, but I expect this is going to be just a fight to the end. All these teams are more than capable of winning a state championship. I've been really impressed with Westfield School taking down the back-to-back 4A GIAA champions, Pacelli. I know they're in the same district. That's why Westfield School is lumped up there with Strong Rock, Calvary, Pacelli, Brookstone. They're in a district with a bunch of 4A schools. So they've been pretty impressive. And then Cantero Academy, who was a 2 seed last year, got a disappointing loss in the quarters.
Yep.
Can they make a run? But yeah, Frederica Academy undefeated, and they've had a pretty good strength of schedule, and that's why they're number 1.
All right, let's go to boys. Boys got 14 teams. Terrell Academy and Westminster Schools of Augusta out. Pinewood at 4-10, number 12, and Dominion Christian at 9-10, number 11, both in the playoffs. Let's talk about the top 10. Piedmont, number 10, 8, 9, and 8. John Millage, number 9, at 7 and 8. Westfield School, a very competitive team this year, at number 8, 10 and 7. Frederica, 7 and 7. Valwood, 13 and 5. Taft area comes in 11 and 4 on the year. And again, a lot of these teams have played, so we know the record may not be exactly right. St. Andrews, 12 and 6 on the season. These rankings again came out on Monday. Lakeview, 17 and 3 on the 16 and 5. They've lost 2 games, including they played Tallulah Falls this Thursday, one of the top teams in 4A. They lost to Fertop Prep by 10, and then Bethlehem Christian by 5. So how about Lakeview going down? And then number 2, Deerfield Windsor, 14 or 15 and 2 now on the season, 14 and 3, on the season at number 2. And then number 1 team, Brookwood, 17 and 3 on the year. They are led by head coach Nate Van Don, and Brookwood's had a great start to their season.
Yeah, Brookwood's been the number 1 team. They've looked fantastic. They were the runners-up last year, lost to St. Andrews. Deerfield Windsor, we know they've got athletes. They were the runners-up in football. They won a football championship. We've seen Deerfield Windsor in the basketball championship a couple years ago. I know that they want to try to avenge that loss to Brookwood last year in the semifinals. Lakeview's always had a tough team. Really, the top 4 teams, in my opinion, have been these 4 in the top of the rankings: Brookwood, Deerfield, Windsor, Lakeview Academy, and St. Andrews. These were all the semifinal participants from last season. I still, when I look at these rankings and I see John Millage right there at number 9, I'm thinking, don't underestimate John Millage. I think that they could end up going on a run, kind of like what the girls did last year as the 7 seed. It's John Millage. They're good at everything at 3A. They're very talented group of individuals that just won a football championship. I would not be surprised if their basketball team made a run.
Let's go to now.
Okay.
4A boys. 4A girls, 16, Fulton Science, 4 and 7, Calvary Christian, Tatnall Square, Brookstone, all out. Even though Brookstone got a win over Calvary this week. Strong Rock, 10 and 8, comes in number 12. Tallulah Falls, 5 and 8, number 11. Both of them in the playoffs right now. Brookstone, Tatnall, Calvary, Fulton out. Number 10, Bethlehem Christian at 9 and 10. Number 9, Bullock Academy, 12 and 7. The 2-time defending champion, Pacelli, 8 and 5. Number 8, how about that? FPD, 10 and 8 on this season. And Pacelli's now 8 and 6 or 9 and 6 after being Strong Rock. But Pacelli, number 8, FPD, number 7, Kings Academy, number 6, Loganville, number 5. And this is where it gets tough. Mountain DeSales, 13 and 2, number 4. Stratford, 15 and 3. And I think they got a win this week. Yep, they're 16 and 3 on the year. They've been great. George Walton just got a win this week. They're 13 and 1. And then the number 1 team at 19 and 2 on the year is Athens Christian, led by head coach Jeff Fawn, who came up just short last year in that state championship. The Pacelli, they come in ranked as the number 1 team in 4A. That top 3 right there, top 4, that is brutal. The top 8, man, that is going to be an incredible quarterfinal, semifinal matchup.
Oh, yeah, it is definitely going to be incredible. And I'm not surprised that Athens Christian is here in this position. 19 and 2. We saw what they did in the championship last year. Remember, they were up like 17-1 against Pacelli. And then the experience of Pacelli was able to pull away and win that. I mean, you look at their team last year compared to this year, they did lose some players, but they still have several D1 players that really has made the gone, like the chemistry and everything. I lost my train of thought there, Thrift. But Athens Christian, number 1. George Walton, always a powerhouse in 4A. They're constantly making Final Four runs. Stratford Academy, obviously, getting a big win over Tatnall. Mount DeSales has been really a surprise. They're in the same region with Stratford Academy. They're going to be battling.
Yep.
We'll probably see them in the district championship, and probably the winner will get the higher seed. Same with George Walton and Athens Christian. They're also in the same district. So I'm interested to see that. The Keens Academy, 10-2 record. Despite their record, they're ranked 6th. And a little disappointed that Pacelli, the back-to-back champions, are at number 8, but they did lose a lot of players. They've had some injuries. They've lost some players to graduation. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun in the 4A Girls Championship.
All right, let's talk about the 4A classification. 18 Riverside Military, outside, not in the playoffs. Strong Rock, number 17. How about Cristo Rey, a team playing the Final Four in back-to-back years? Richard, they are 3-12, struggle for this year.
Shocking.
Stratford, another shocking 7-9. They're 15. Fulton Science 14, and Mount DeSales 9-6 at 13. Those are the teams out. Who's in? Well, Brookstone's in, even though they just lost to Calvary this week in 9-12. They are at number 12. They got Harris County, which is a winnable game coming up this week, Richard. FPD has a game, Rich, this week FPD comes in ranked number 9. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. I am losing my train of thought, and I thought I had the rankings up, and I don't. So apologize about that. All right. And number 11, FPD in the playoffs, 11-7. Number 10. Now back to what I was saying. Sorry. Terrible broadcasting right there. Bullock at 10-6. Number 9. Tatnall coming on strong, 10-7. They beat Stratford last night. Loganville, 9-5. Number 8. Athens Christian, they're starting to come along and playing well. Comes in at number 7. Calvary Christian, 15-6. Number 6. Kings Academy, number 5. Tallulah Falls comes in at number 4, even though they did lose this week to Athens, if I'm not mistaken. Tallulah Falls. Actually, yep, they lost to Athens Christian. And then they got Lakeview this week. So and they lost by 1 to Athens. So Tallulah could be dropping. Athens could be rising up by next week. Bethlehem Christian, big win over Lakeview. They're going to probably stay at number 2. George Walton, number 3, and the number 1 team, as they should be. They just beat one of the top public schools. Pacelli's playing great basketball. They're 9-6, and they are the defending champion, back-to-back, and they should be at the top of the mountain. The championship should go through the Pacelli Vikings. They've been the best team the last 4 years.
Yeah, and they just got a big win on the road against Strong Rock. They're going to play the 2A runner-up Heritage tomorrow, and then they got a stretch where they're going to end up taking on Calvary, Westfield School, and Brookstone. I think Pacelli can run the table. I think that they're probably not going to lose a game for the rest of the season to lock up that number 1 seed, and which is going to be very important because we've got some newcomers that have not been there before. If you look at Athens Christian, they were the runners-up last year. They are a 7th seed at 7-11. We have Cristo Rey that is having a disappointing season. They were in the semifinals. Tatnall was a surprise team last year. I know they were a 4 seed. They beat Stratford. But you look at a team like Tatnall, which they are ranked number 9. So we're going to see some teams that are probably going to make a deep run in the playoffs. I would always keep an eye on Tallulah Falls. They're always going to be a dangerous team. Last year, Pacelli beat them in the quarters, but I think Tallulah Falls could make a deep run. And Pacelli's rival in Columbus there, Brookstone at 12, and we could have 3 teams from Columbus be in the playoffs. Calvary Christian sitting there at number 6. If you're looking at the playoffs, obviously 5 playing 12, 6 playing 11. The first 4 teams are going to get a bye. So I'm excited to see what the 4A playoffs are going to look like, especially after we get past the district tournaments.
And by the way, George Walton, they've lost 3 in a row. Athens Christian, Tallulah Falls. I'm telling you, there's going to be major shakeups when the rankings come out next week. And they got big games coming up in the next couple of days too.
Yes, they do.
Those are the rankings for all classification girls and boys. We'll take a break. We'll come up. We'll wrap up tonight's Inside the GIAA show presented by the Beck Center. It's Thrift and Rich. Don't go anywhere.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Founded in 1985, the Georgia Independent School Association proudly represents nearly 170 accredited private, independent, and parochial schools across the state. From Tallulah Falls to St. Simon's Island, from Columbus to Augusta, our schools serve over 76,000 students every year. Whether parents are interested in smaller class sizes, more individual attention, a religious-based curriculum, or a safe and structured environment, the GISA provides a strong education, which is the foundation for success. To learn more about the GISA and how they can serve your school, visit us online at www.gisaschools.org.
Everyone, man, what a great show. Basketball season is about to be ending here in the next few weeks. We got region tournaments that'll come up, and then our district tournaments, and then straight into quarterfinals, state championships. Can you believe that? February coming up 20th and 21st, we'll be in Macon for the quarterfinals, Rich. And then coming up February 25th and 26th, we'll have semifinals 1A and 2A at ABAC in Tifton, and then 3A and 4A at Columbus State, and then state championships February 27th and 28th at Columbus State University. So we cannot wait to be there for those, Rich. And then, of course, swimming, as we may mention, wrestling duels this weekend at George Walton. Go and support all those schools, and can't wait to check in. Baseball season and practice
starts Monday.
It's starting on Monday. I mean, it's just all the spring sports are about to be underway.
January 3rd. Baseball in January. Games are starting January 31st.
Unbelievable.
Wow. We got Crisp Academy taking on Mount DeSales. That is the first GIAA game. I cannot wait. That is going to be exciting. How about this? Brookwood, Valdosta. You're starting to see these GIAA teams saying, you know what? We're going to play the public schools.
Yeah.
I like Brookwood out of Thomasville taking on Valdosta. Oh, man, sign me up. Brookstone taking on Northside in Columbus. Sign me up for that. Man, I can't believe the baseball is finally here.
Yeah, starting next week, we'll have on the number one team coach from some of the schools around, including we'll try to do 1A and 2A, try to have 2 or 3 coaches on next week and leading up until those quarterfinals. So cannot wait for that, man. So, and then we'll have on Clint Morgan, get him and Tommy Marshall, and kind of got a State of the Union with the state championships coming up, get an update on what happened in the wrestling as well. So we hope y'all stay warm. It's going to be icy this weekend. Be safe across the state. We want to make sure everybody comes away warm, safe, and then we can continue on about our way after this weekend. So please do that. Had a lot of fun here, Rich. Any other final thoughts before we wrap up Inside the GIAA?
No, just can't wait for more GIAA action, and as we get ready to wrap up this regular season in basketball and spring sports, it's just around the corner.
Unbelievable, man. It's almost here. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you to Roger Beck and the Beck Center for him being the presenting sponsor of all things GIAA State Championships presented by the Beck Center. We are excited for GIAA.TV action and coverage of all the quarterfinals, semifinals, and state championships basketball coming up in February. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday night on Inside the GIAA on GIAA.TV.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.tv, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.